Researcher Minji arrived at the station 3 hours after the database activated. She was a Corlean, her body made of living crystal that caught and reflected light in beautiful patterns. She specialized in ancient civilizations and dead languages, and she had never been more excited in her life. "Show me everything," she said the moment she entered the command center. Captain Tae-sung gestured to the screens. "It's all there. 800 years of sealed files about a species called humans. The database unlocked itself when we brought the survivor aboard." Minji moved closer to the screens, her crystalline fingers touching the controls. Her species could interface directly with computers, reading data faster than most other races. As information flooded into her mind, her glow dimmed with sadness. "This is terrible," she whispered. "These humans, they were peaceful. They had just invented their first faster-than-light theory. They were going to join the galactic community within a century, and the Varathians took them." Dr. Hana entered the room, looking tired. She had been watching over the human all night. "Can you find out more about what they did to them?" Minji nodded, diving deeper into the database. What she found made her wish she hadn't looked. The Varathians had been the most powerful empire in the galaxy 900 years ago. They had conquered dozens of worlds, and they ruled through fear and superior weapons. But they were paranoid. They wanted to know everything about warfare, about death, about what could destroy any species they might face. So they found the humans. A young species, barely into their space age, with no defenses against advanced technology. The Varathians took them from their planet Earth in massive ships. Millions of humans were captured, taken to secret facilities scattered across Varathian space. "They called it the Adaptation Project," Minji said, reading the files aloud. "The goal was to expose humans to every weapon the Varathians had ever created. They wanted to see what killed fastest, what caused the most suffering, what was most efficient." Jiwoo, who had come to listen, made a sound of disgust. "They used living beings as test subjects for weapons?" "For decades," Minji confirmed. "They tested biological weapons first. Plagues, viruses, bacterial agents. Thousands of humans died. Then they moved to chemical weapons. Nerve agents, burning gases, toxins. Thousands more died. Then radiation weapons, plasma weapons, kinetic weapons, genetic modification weapons. Every type of death they could imagine." Hyunwoo, the security officer, clenched his scaled fists. "The Varathians were monsters. Everyone knows this. But I did not know about this project." "No one did," Tae-sung said. "These files were sealed. Even the coalition government doesn't know about them, I think." Minji continued reading, and then she stopped. Her glow brightened with surprise. "Wait, something changed after 30 years of experiments. The reports start mentioning something unexpected." Everyone leaned closer. "Some humans started surviving," Minji read. "Not many at first. 1 in 1,000 would live through exposure to a plague that should have killed them. Then their children, born in the facilities, showed even higher survival rates. After 3 generations, the Varathians noticed something impossible." "What?" Hana asked. "The humans were adapting. Their bodies were learning to resist the weapons. Humans who survived a plague would develop immunity not just to that plague, but to similar ones. Humans who survived radiation would develop cells that resisted radiation damage. It was as if their genetics were rewriting themselves to counter each threat." "That's impossible," Jiwoo said. "Evolution doesn't work that fast. It takes millions of years." "For most species, yes," Minji agreed. "But humans were different. The Varathians documented it. They called it aggressive adaptive evolution. The humans' bodies were changing within their own lifetimes, passing those changes to their children. Each generation became harder to kill." She pulled up images, charts showing survival rates climbing over the decades, genetic maps showing new markers appearing in human DNA, reports from Varathian scientists expressing concern, then worry, then fear. By year 60 of the project, the Varathians had a problem, Minji said. They had created a population of humans who could survive almost anything. Biological weapons stopped working. Chemical weapons became less effective. Even radiation, which should have killed them, was starting to fail. Hana thought about the man in her medical bay, covered in scars from every weapon imaginable, yet still alive. They created super survivors. They created humans who refused to die, Minji corrected. And the Varathians realized they had made a terrible mistake. If these adapted humans ever escaped, if they ever reproduced freely, they could become a species that nothing could stop. The Varathians had turned test subjects into potential conquerors. So they killed them? Hyunwoo asked. They tried, Minji said. But killing adapted humans wasn't easy. The final reports describe battles in the facilities. Humans fighting back with stolen weapons. Varathian guards dying. Panic spreading through the Empire's military command. She brought up the final documents. The order came from the Varathian Emperor himself. Terminate the project. Kill all the humans. But there was a problem. Direct killing had become difficult. The humans were too tough, too adaptable, so they chose a different method. Deep space scattering, Taesung said quietly. Yes. They loaded the surviving humans into cryopods. About 2,000 of them, according to the manifests. They launched these pods into space with no navigation, no destinations, just set them drifting into the void, where they would float forever. A slow death by isolation. The room fell silent. Everyone was thinking the same thing. Somewhere out there in the endless dark, there were pods still drifting, humans still frozen, still waiting. The last entry in the database is 847 years ago, Minji said. It says project adaptation terminated. All subjects disposed of, species designated extinct, files sealed by imperial order. And then the Varathian Empire fell 100 years later in the Coalition Wars, and everyone forgot about the humans. Except one survived, Jiwoo said. The man in medical bay. His name is Daewon, Dr. Hana said. I found identification markings on his cryopod. He was subject number 1847. The Varathians gave them numbers, not names, but someone, maybe Daewon himself, scratched his real name into the metal. Minji saved all the files to her personal database. We need to search for the other pods. If Daewon survived, others might have too. The Coalition Council will need to know about this, Taesung said. This is bigger than us. An extinct species found alive, created by illegal experiments. This will shake the entire galaxy. First let Daewon wake up, Hana said. He deserves to know what happened. He deserves to tell his own story. As if the universe was listening, an alert sounded from the medical bay. Hana ran, the others following. When they entered, they saw Daewon moving. His hands were gripping the sides of the bed. His eyes were open, staring at the ceiling. Hana approached slowly. Hello, can you understand me? You're safe. You're on medical station Theta 7. Daewon's eyes moved to her. They were dark brown, filled with confusion and pain. His lips moved, but no sound came out at first. Then in a voice rough from centuries of silence, he spoke. Others? He whispered. Where are the others? Hana felt her heart break. We don't know, she said honestly. But we're going to find them. I promise. Daewon closed his eyes and a single tear ran down his scarred face. After 800 years, the last human had woken up. And his first thought was not for himself. It was for his people. Daewon sat up slowly on the third day. His body was still weak, but Dr. Hana was amazed at how quickly he was recovering. Wounds that should have taken months to heal were closing in days. His strength was returning faster than any patient she had ever treated. Take it slow, she told him, helping him sit upright. You've been frozen for a very long time. How long? Daewon asked. His voice was getting stronger. He was learning to use the translator device they had given him, though he spoke slowly, choosing his words carefully. 847 years, Hana said gently. Daewon nodded as if he had expected this. The Varathians wanted us gone forever. I guess they almost succeeded. A new figure entered the medical bay. Counselor June was an Emphoran, a species known for their ability to sense emotions and provide psychological care. He was tall and thin, with large purple eyes that seemed to see into people's souls. He moved quietly, peacefully. Hello, Daewon, June said, his voice calm and warm. My name is June. I'm here to help you adjust to waking up. I know this must be very difficult. Daewon looked at him for a long moment. You can feel what I'm feeling, can't you? Your species is telepathic. Empathic, June corrected gently. I sense emotions, not thoughts. And yes, I can feel your pain, your confusion, your worry for others. You have a strong heart. A scarred heart, Daewon said, touching his chest where a massive plasma burn had healed into twisted skin, like the rest of me. Over the next few days, they talked. June and Minji interviewed Daewon carefully, never pushing too hard, always giving him time to rest when the memories became too painful. But Daewon wanted to talk. He said he had been silent for too long. He told them about Earth, a beautiful blue planet with vast oceans and green lands. He had never seen it himself, But his grandmother had told him stories passed down from those who remembered. Stories of cities reaching toward the sky, of music and art and laughter, of a species that had just begun to dream of the stars. Then he told them about the day the Vorathians came. They took everyone they could catch, Daewon said, staring at his hands. Millions of us. I was born in the facilities. I never knew Earth. I only knew the cages. He described the facilities. Massive underground complexes where humans were kept in sections based on what experiments the Vorathians were running. Biological weapons in Section A, chemical weapons in Section B, radiation in Section C, and on and on. They would come every day, Daewon said, his voice flat, emotionless. They would take people from the cages. Sometimes they came back. Usually they didn't. We learned not to scream. It didn't help. Jiwoo, who was listening, had to leave the room. Even her analytical insectoid mind couldn't handle the horror of what she was hearing. But something changed. Daewon continued. People started surviving. My mother survived 3 plagues that should have killed her. My father survived chemical exposure that melted the skin off his arms, but he healed. I survived radiation that should have stopped my heart. The adaptation, Minji said quietly. We didn't know what to call it, Daewon said. We just knew we were getting harder to kill. Each generation was stronger than the last. The Vorathians noticed too. They started running different tests. They wanted to know why we weren't dying like we should. He rolled up his sleeve, showing a scar that looked like someone had injected him with acid. They took samples, blood, tissue, bone marrow. They studied us like we were puzzles to solve. And they got scared. Scared of you? Hana asked. Scared of what we were becoming, Daewon said. By the time I was 20, there were maybe 5,000 of us left in the facilities. But those 5,000 could survive almost anything. Diseases didn't work. Poisons didn't work. They shot my friend Taemin 7 times and he lived. They dropped my friend Suki from a building and she walked away with broken bones that healed in weeks. His eyes went distant, remembering. The Vorathians held meetings. We could hear them arguing. Some wanted to keep studying us. Others wanted to kill us immediately. Some even suggested using us as soldiers, making an army that couldn't be killed. But most of them just wanted us gone. So they chose the pods, Taesung said. He had been listening quietly from the doorway. Yes, Daewon said. They told us they were relocating us to a better facility. We didn't believe them, but we had no choice. They forced us into cryopods. I remember my pod number. 1847. I remember the last thing I saw before they froze me. What was it? June asked gently. Other pods, Daewon said. Rows and rows of them. All of us being loaded onto ships. They said there were about 2,000 of us being scattered, sent in different directions into deep space. They wanted us to drift forever, frozen, never waking up. A clean way to make us extinct. The room was silent except for the gentle hum of medical equipment. I'm sorry, Hana said. I'm so sorry this happened to you. Daewon looked at her with eyes that had seen too much. Don't be sorry for me. Be sorry for those who didn't survive. Be sorry for Earth, a planet that had no defense against monsters. Be sorry for humanity, a species that was murdered for the crime of being convenient test subjects. He stood up, testing his legs. He was steady now, getting stronger every hour. But also be happy. Happy? Minji asked, surprised. Yes, Daewon said, a small smile appearing on his scarred face. Be happy that they failed. I'm here. I survived. And if I survived, others did too. You said there were 2,000 pods. Find them, find my people. Give us a chance to live. Hyunwoo stepped forward. We will. I swear it on my honor as a warrior. We will find the others. Dr. Hana ran new tests on Daewon over the next few days. What she discovered was remarkable. His cells had markers that showed resistance to almost every known disease, toxin, and radiation type. His body could regulate its own temperature in extremes. His bones were denser than normal. His healing factor was at least 10 times faster than any species she knew. You're incredible, she told him. Your body is a marvel of adaptation. My body is a war zone, Daewon corrected. Every scar is a battle I fought to stay alive. I'm not incredible. I'm just stubborn. Humans are stubborn. We refuse to die. He looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, others are drifting. Others are waiting. They've been waiting for 800 years. We need to find them. Captain Taesung activated the long-range scanners. The station's sensors were powerful, designed to monitor a large section of space. Within hours they had results. I'm picking up signals, the scanner technician reported. Multiple signals matching the signature of your derelict ship. They're scattered across 3 sectors. Everyone gathered around the screens. Little dots appeared, marking locations where other cryoships might be drifting. How many? Taiwan asked, his voice shaking. 47 signals, the technician said. Some are stronger than others. Some might be empty ships, but there are definitely other pods out there. Daewon closed his eyes and tears ran down his face. They're out there. My people are out there. Then we go get them, Taesung said firmly. We mount a rescue mission. We bring them home. Home, Daewon repeated softly. We haven't had a home in 800 years. June put a gentle hand on his shoulder. Then it's time to change that. As the station prepared for the rescue mission, Daewon stood at the window watching the stars. He had survived the impossible. He had outlasted an empire. He had drifted through the void for centuries, but now, finally, he had hope. Hope that he wasn't alone. Hope that humanity wasn't extinct. Hope that somewhere in the darkness his people were waiting to be found, and he would find them. No matter what it took. The rescue ship launched from Station Theta 7 2 days later. It was a fast corvette called the Searcher, equipped with the best sensors and life support systems the Coalition could provide. Captain Taesung had personally approved the mission, overriding several bureaucrats who wanted to wait for official authorization. We're not waiting, he had told them. Every day we delay is another day those people spend frozen in the void. Daewon stood on the bridge, watching the stars blur as they entered faster than light travel. Despite Dr. Hana's concerns about his health, he had insisted on coming. These were his people out there. He needed to be there when they were found. The crew was small but dedicated. Yinwu, the security officer, had volunteered immediately. His warrior culture valued courage and honor, and he saw this mission as both. Jiwoo, the insectoid nurse, came to provide medical support, and Sunhee, the station's chief engineer, joined to handle any technical problems with the ancient cryopods. Sunhee was a Brellan, a species that had partially merged with technology. Half her body was cybernetic, giving her an instinctive understanding of machines. She was quiet and methodical, preferring the company of computers to people. But she had been moved by Daewon's story. The first signal is 3 hours away, she reported, her mechanical eye glowing as she interfaced with the ship's navigation. It's orbiting a dead star. The radiation there is intense. Can the pod survive that? Daewon asked, worry in his voice. The Varathian technology is old but solid, son, he said. The pods were designed to last indefinitely. But 800 years is a long time. We won't know until we get there. They dropped out of faster than light near the dead star. It hung in space like a corpse, dark and cold. Around it, 3 small objects orbited slowly. 3 pods, Hyunwoo confirmed, reading the sensors. All intact, life signs? Daewon asked, his hands gripping the console so hard his knuckles turned white. Sunhee scanned carefully. Her face fell. 2 pods show no activity. The cryosystems failed, but the 3rd pod still has power. There's a life sign, weak but present. Get them all, Daewon said immediately. Even the failed ones. They deserve proper burial, not floating forever in space. They used the ship's cargo bay to recover all 3 pods. Daewon stood over them as Sunhee began the careful process of checking the 3rd pod. She connected her systems directly to the ancient machine, reading its status. The pod is damaged, she reported. It took radiation damage from the star. The systems are barely functioning. We need to wake this person immediately or the pod will fail completely. Do it, Daewon said. Jiwoo prepared the medical equipment as Sunhee began the wake-up sequence. The pod's ice began to melt. Through the clearing glass, they could see a woman. She was young, maybe late 20s, with short black hair and skin covered in scars similar to Daewon's. The pod opened with a hiss of cold air. The woman gasped, her body jerking as life returned to her. Her eyes opened, unfocused and confused. Easy, Jiwoo said, helping her sit up. You're safe. Breathe slowly. The woman coughed, her body shaking. Then her eyes found Daewon. She stared at him for a long moment. Then she whispered something in a language the translator didn't recognize at first. Old human language from before the Varathians came. Daewon answered in the same language. Then they both started crying, reaching for each other. Daewon pulled her into a hug, and they held each other like they were the last 2 people in the universe. In a way they were. Her name is Young Mi, Daewon finally said, switching back to common language. We knew each other. In the facilities. In Section D, young me was weak, but she recovered quickly. Like day one, her body healed fast. Within hours, she could sit up and talk. Within a day, she could walk. The human ability to adapt extended even to recovery from cryosleep. I remember being put in the pod, she said, sitting in the medical bay with Daewon beside her. I remember thinking I would never wake up. I remember making peace with death. But you're alive, Daewon said, holding her hand. We both are. Young me looked at the others in the room. How long? 847 years, Daewon told her. She nodded slowly. The Vorathians? Gone. Their empire fell centuries ago. Good, she said simply. Then she looked at Captain Tae-sung. You rescued us. Why? Because it was right, Tae-sung said. Because no one deserves what happened to your people. Because you're alive and life is precious. Over the next few days, as they searched for more pods, young me told them things that Daewon hadn't known. She had been older when they were frozen, and she had learned secrets from the Vorathian scientists. They didn't just fear that we were hard to kill, she explained. They discovered something else about humans. Something that terrified them. What? Minji asked. She had joined the mission after they found young me, eager to learn more. We were developing control, young me said. The adaptation wasn't just automatic. Some humans were learning to trigger it consciously. We could make our bodies heal faster by focusing. We could fight off poison by willing our immune system to work harder. We could survive in low oxygen by forcing our cells to use less. Dr. Hana was fascinated. Conscious cellular control? That's theoretically impossible. Not for humans, young me said. We had no choice but to evolve or die. So we evolved the ability to direct our own evolution. The Vorathians realized that if we developed this ability fully, we could become almost unkillable. And if we ever reproduced freely, our children would be even stronger. So they scattered you into space, Hyunwoo said. They called it the final solution, Youngmi said bitterly. Make us extinct without actually killing us. Just let us drift forever, frozen. While they told everyone we were gone. Clean hands, no guilt. The ship continued its search. They found 17 more pods over the next week. 9 were dead, their systems failed long ago. But 8 contained living humans. Each time they woke someone, it was emotional. Tears, hugs, disbelief. The humans couldn't believe they were being rescued. There was Kibum, a man in his 40s who had been a doctor in the facilities, doing what he could to help others survive. There was Yunji, a teenage girl who had never known anything but the cages. There was Minho, an elderly man who remembered Earth itself, one of the original captives. Each had their own story of survival and adaptation, but then, as they traveled to recover another cluster of pods, their ship's sensors detected something else. Another vessel, this one large and military. Unknown ship approaching, Sunhee reported, her voice tense. It's not Coalition. The design matches the Kanar Concordat. Tae-sung's face went pale. The Kanar Concordat was a powerful political group made up of species that had once been part of the Vorathian Empire. They were not friendly to the Coalition, and they had never apologized for their ancestors' crimes. Why are they here? Hyunwoo asked, moving to the weapons station. The answer came quickly. A transmission arrived. A voice spoke in formal galactic common, cold and official. Unidentified vessel, you are in possession of classified biological materials. Stand down and prepare to be boarded. The humans must be surrendered to Kanar custody for security purposes. Daewon stood up slowly. They want us. They want to finish what the Vorathians started, or use you, Youngmi said quietly. If they know what we can do, they might want to study us, or weaponize us. Tae-sung opened a communication channel. This is Captain Tae-sung of Medical Station Theta 7. The humans are under Coalition protection. They are refugees, not property. We will not surrender them. Then you are in violation of Kenar's security protocols, the voice replied. We will take them by force if necessary. The military ship powered up its weapons. It was 3 times the size of the Searcher, with enough firepower to destroy them in seconds. We can't fight them, Sunhee said. We won't have to, Tae-sung said. He opened another channel, this one broadcasting on all Coalition frequencies. This is Captain Tae-sung. I am declaring an emergency. We have discovered survivors of an extinct species, humans, who were victims of Vorathian war crimes. The Kanar Concordat is attempting to seize them by force. I request immediate assistance. He looked at Daewon. And I think you should talk to the galaxy. Tell them who you are. Tell them what happened. The Kenar can't take you if everyone is watching, Daewon understood. He stepped in front of the communication camera. Young Mi joined him and the other rescued humans gathered behind them. My name is Daewon, he said, his voice steady. I'm human. My species was declared extinct 800 years ago. But we're not extinct. We're here, and we have a story the galaxy needs to hear. He began to speak. The broadcast went out across the galaxy. Every coalition world received it. Every news station picked it up. Billions of beings stopped what they were doing to watch a scarred human speak about survival and extinction. The Varathians took us from our home, Daewon said, standing straight despite his exhaustion. They took millions of us. They used us as test subjects for every weapon they could imagine. They killed most of us, but some of us survived. We adapted. We evolved. We refused to die. Behind him, young Mi and the other rescued humans stood together. Their scars were visible on the camera. Their pain was obvious, but so was their strength. When the Varathians realized they couldn't kill us easily, they were afraid, Daewon continued. So they put us in pods and threw us into space. They wanted us to drift forever, frozen, slowly dying where no one would find us. They wanted to erase us from history. He paused, looking directly at the camera, but they failed. We're here, we're alive, and now the Kenar Concordat, the inheritors of Varathian territory, want to take us again. They say it's for security, but we know what that means. We've heard those words before. Young Mai stepped forward. We don't want revenge. We don't want war. We just want to live. We want a chance to be free, to recover, to build a future for our species. Is that too much to ask? The transmission ended. For a moment, nothing happened. The Kenar ship still had its weapons charged. The searcher was still alone in space. Then another ship arrived. Then another. Then 5 more. Coalition vessels answering the distress call. Medical ships, research vessels, even a military cruiser. Within an hour, there were 20 ships surrounding the searcher, all of them placing themselves between the humans and the Kenar threat. A transmission came from the lead coalition ship. This is Admiral Kovac of the Coalition Defense Force. The Kenar vessel will stand down immediately. These humans are under official coalition protection. Any attempt to seize them will be considered an act of war. The Kenar ship powered down its weapons. They had no choice. They couldn't fight an entire coalition fleet. Without another word, they turned and left, disappearing into faster-than-light travel. Daewon let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. It worked. You worked, Captain Taesung said, smiling. You spoke truth and the galaxy listened. Over the next 3 months, the rescue effort became a massive operation. Coalition ships spread across 3 sectors, searching for every human pod. News of the survivors had created a wave of public support. People demanded that the humans be saved. Volunteers offered ships, supplies, medical care. They found 47 pods in total. 23 contained living humans. The others had failed over the centuries. Their occupants lost to time and space. Each loss was mourned, but each rescue was celebrated. Dr. Hana worked tirelessly with the survivors. She established a medical research program, studying human adaptation with full consent and ethics approval. The humans agreed to help, hoping their unique biology could benefit other species. Your cellular resistance markers could help us cure diseases that have plagued the galaxy for centuries, Hana explained to Daewon. With your permission, we could develop treatments based on how your immune system adapts. On one condition, Daewon said. Any treatments developed from studying us must be available to everyone, not just the wealthy. We survived hell. We don't want our suffering to be used for profit. Hana agreed immediately. The Coalition Council approved the terms. Human biology would be studied, but the knowledge would be shared freely. Researcher Minji took on a different project. She searched through every database, every archive, every forgotten file. She was looking for Earth. The humans' homeworld had been lost for 800 years. No one knew where it was. The Varathians had destroyed all records, but Minji was persistent. She cross-referenced old star charts with gravitational data. She analyzed the age and composition of dust on the derelict cryoships. Slowly, piece by piece, she built a map. I think I found it, she announced one day, her crystalline body glowing with excitement. Earth, or where it should be. Daewon and Young Mi looked at the coordinates. A small yellow star in a spiral arm of the galaxy. 3rd planet from the sun. Blue and green, according to the ancient images. Is it still there? Young Mi asked quietly. Only one way to find out, Minji said. They organized an expedition. 23 humans, now healthy and strong, traveled with a coalition exploration team to the coordinates. The journey took 2 weeks. As they approached the system, sensors began picking up readings. There's a planet in the habitable zone, Sun He reported. Oxygen, nitrogen atmosphere, liquid water, and life signs. Lots of them. They entered orbit and everyone crowded around the windows. Below them was Earth, still blue, still green, still beautiful. It survived, Day One whispered, tears streaming down his face. Our home survived, but something was different. The scanners showed no cities, no technology, no signs of human civilization. The Varathians must have destroyed everything when they left, Young Mi said. They took our people and burned our cities. But life came back, Minho said. The old man was crying too. The planet healed. Trees grew where buildings stood. Animals returned. Earth survived just like we did. The Coalition Council debated what to do with Earth. Some suggested leaving it untouched, a nature preserve. Others wanted to colonize it with various species. But the humans had a different idea. Let it heal, Daewon said when he addressed the council. For now, let Earth be what it became. Wild, free, natural. We humans have survived in space stations and ships. We can continue to do so while we rebuild our numbers and our culture. When we're ready, when there are enough of us, we'll return to Earth. But not to conquer it. To join it again as part of nature, not masters of it. The council agreed. Earth was declared a protected world with humans as its guardians. A small monitoring station was established in orbit, staffed by some of the survivors who wanted to watch over their ancestral home. Medical Station Theta-7 became the center of human recovery. The 23 survivors lived there, working with Dr. Hana and her team. They learned about the galaxy they had missed. They studied new languages, new cultures, new technologies, and slowly they started families. The first human baby in 800 years was born in the station's medical bay. A girl, healthy and strong, born to Kibum and Yunji. They named her Nari, which meant lily in the Old Earth language. She was hope made flesh. More children followed. The human population began to grow. Slowly, carefully, but steadily. Each child was precious, each birth a victory against extinction. Daewon became a teacher, sharing human history and culture with both humans and aliens. Young Mai worked with the coalition as a liaison, helping other species understand humans. Minho spent his days writing down everything he remembered about Earth, preserving knowledge that had almost been lost. 5 years after Daewon's rescue, an official ceremony was held on Station Theta-7. The coalition presented the human survivors with a gift, a ship, large enough for all of them to live on, fast enough to travel the galaxy and powerful enough to defend itself. You survived the impossible, Admiral Kovac said as he presented the ship's command codes. You refuse to be erased. This ship is a symbol of the galaxy's promise to you. You will never be forgotten again. You will never be alone again. You are part of the coalition now and we protect our own. Daewon accepted the codes, but he had something to say. We thank you. All of you. You saved us when you didn't have to. You protected us when others wanted to harm us. You gave us a future when we thought we had none. He looked at the assembled crowd. Hundreds of species, thousands of individuals, all gathered to celebrate humanity's survival. But understand this, Daewon continued, his voice strong. We didn't survive because we're superior. We survived because we're stubborn. We're adaptable. We refuse to give up. These are human traits, yes, but they're not unique to us. Every species here has survived challenges. Every species has overcome threats. Every species has refused to give up. He smiled, and it transformed his scarred face into something beautiful. The Varathians tried to break us. They tried to learn our weaknesses, but they learned our strength instead. And that strength is simple. Humans endure. We heal, we adapt, we survive, and now we'll thrive. Young Mi raised her hand and all the other humans did the same. It was an old gesture from Earth, a symbol of unity. We're not just survivors anymore, she said. We're citizens of the galaxy. We're teachers, students, friends, and allies. We're humans, and we're here to stay. The crowd erupted in cheers. Every species had their own way of celebrating, and they all did it at once. It was chaos and noise and joy all mixed together. Later, on the observation deck of the station, Daewon stood with young Mi looking at the stars. Their children played nearby, Human and alien kids together, learning and laughing. Do you think they'll remember? Youngmi asked. The children. Do you think they'll remember what we survived? We'll make sure they do, Daewon said. Not to make them bitter, not to make them afraid, but to remind them that humanity is resilient, that we can face anything and come out the other side. He touched the scar on his chest, the plasma burn that had almost killed him. These scars tell a story of pain, yes, but also of survival, of adaptation, of refusing to die. Youngmi smiled. The Varathians wanted to know what could kill any species. They tested everything on us. And you know what they learned? What? That some things can't be killed. Some things refuse to end. Hope, love, the will to live, humanity. She looked at the children playing. We're proof of that. Daewon nodded. In the distance, Earth rotated slowly, blue and green and beautiful, healing, waiting. One day their descendants would walk on that world again. They would feel Earth's soil under their feet, breathe Earth's air, and know they had come home. But for now, home was here. Among the stars. Among friends. Among people who cared. The last humans had been found. The extinct species had returned. And the galaxy was better for it. Because humanity had survived. Against all odds, against every weapon, against time itself. They had survived. And they would thrive. The story of human extinction had become the story of human return. And it was only the beginning.